Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chet.
And I'm Ken.
And today we welcome back John Turose in the studio, our
Yay.
favorite trainer. Welcome back.
Thanks
Welcome,
so much for having me.
John. We're so
Absolutely.
thrilled
It's great
to
to be
have you
back.
here.
Running
so
your
we're-
own business now.
Yes. So, back in about 3 years ago, the company I worked for, they went bankrupt, and instead of jumping into a box gym working for like EOS or something, I decided to just go on my own, start my own business, entrepreneurial. I took the clients that I had before,
Yay.
and then I just sort of built my business up from there.
Well, there's nothing more exciting than working for yourself.
Oh, I love it.
In the Green Room, we're here saving the planet.
One show at a time. And today we're going to talk, health and wellness, how to get back in shape, how to break bad habits. So right off the bat,
Cheers.
Let's go into breaking bad habits.
Cheers.
Because I actually can speak a little bit from experience from this because over COVID, I had a lot of bad habits, but it was kind of forced upon me by the government lockdowns and stuff. They chained up the basketball hoops. They wouldn't even let you hike up the trails. So I was just like, oh, I can't work out. I'm going to drink tequila every day. And I put on like 30 pounds. I was a chunky boy.
I was starting not to recognize you.
but then-
I was like, is that my boy?
But I started feeling like crap, and it started having effects on other aspects of my life. Like when I'd try to work in the studio, work on music, I wouldn't be able to get comfortable. My posture felt bad, and I just knew I needed to make a change. But it was hard getting out of the bad habits. It took me a while to realize that I had to get out of those bad habits. But John, how do you think, if there's somebody listening right now that's stuck in some bad habits, how do you think they should go about tackling that?
Good question.
So the first thing is you have to put a label on your bad habits. If you don't know what your bad habits are, you're not going to be able to change them. So if you notice you're drinking every single day, okay, I'm drinking every single day. I don't feel great. I'm gaining weight. This is a habit that I need to break. However, one of the most difficult things about breaking habits is the rebounding effect. So if you cut everything out immediately, chances are you might be okay for a day, you might be okay for a week, maybe even a month, but then that one day
Fall
comes
right back
and
into
you
it.
fall right back into it, and then typically that waterfall just happens, snowball effect, and you are right back to where you were before. So the way I always try to have myself, my clients, anyone that's asking me for help breaking habits is try to, after you label the habit, is try to maybe limit it. So if you drink 3-4 glasses of wine or tequila drinks every single night with dinner, you're probably not going to be able to stop right away. So instead of reaching for that third or fourth glass, maybe only have 2 or 3, and slowly
Baby steps.
baby steps.
Baby steps.
So the first week you cut it to maybe 3 drinks each night, and then maybe you realize you still go out on the weekends. So now instead of 3 drinks on the weekends, you're drinking 5 or 6. Maybe then you're like, okay, I can't stop that right there. Let's try to limit it during the week.
So, Chet, is that what you did? Did you just cold turkey?
I did a gradual limitation too, but I was doing it kind of splitting it up over the days. So I was taking off the weeknights from drinking, like Monday through Thursday, I was cutting it out entirely, and then Friday through Sunday I would drink. So basically kind of be rewarding myself when I would go to shows. And I felt that worked better for me personally because I also noticed that when I get alcohol totally out of my system for a full 24 hours, I have a better overall lift. I have like a better brain to muscle connection because alcohol is such a sedative. I can literally feel it in my muscles. That's why I didn't have a glass of wine with you today, because I still have to go to the gym later. I know I'm not going to hit the same weights if I have even just one glass. I can feel the effect. Instead of getting my squat set for a set of 10, I'll only get 8 or something. And I hate that.
So you had a plan.
Yeah, so I replaced my bad habit with a good habit of going to the gym. So when I would have that itch to want to have a drink or something, I would either go on a run, I would get an ab workout in at home. So I was replacing the bad habit with a good habit. And within a couple weeks, I was craving the workout more than I was craving the drinks.
That's a book.
Absolutely.
Replace the
Yeah.
bad
I
habit
was
with a
gonna
good
say
habit. That's a title.
That is definitely
Oh my gosh, we
one
have
of
to.
the main things that I have my clients do is try to find something that'll either distract you or change your mindset.
Replace it.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, my bad habit is, it's not really a bad habit. I actually have almost like an eating disorder slightly where I binge eat. And there would be times where I would just sit and I would eat, consume probably 7,000 calories in a matter of 2 hours, 3 hours.
I've seen him eat crazy amounts.
and it
I
is-
usually eat a lot, but he puts me to shame.
And it was,
No.
and
You
yeah,
do?
and it's difficult. And
Have
then
you
there
ever
are
been chunky?
I've gotten up there, but not really chunky. I was trying to be big, so I got the heaviest I ever was
Bulk up.
210 in like college. But I was big and strong. I did have a little bit of gut, but I was burly.
Yeah, he was
But
just
my,
bulky.
my,
Yeah.
But for me, it's not so much the aesthetics, it's how I feel. If I sit there and I eat, a full pizza, 2 dozen wings, a milkshake, and, like 3 brownies, I'm not going to feel great for 3 days. I'm going to have a food hangover. And so what I try to do is when I have that is I will go find something else to do. So I like to do chores. So
I
I'll
love
pick a
that.
chore. Or some
Such
little
as?
thing, like pick up my room. Okay, yeah, there's stuff on the floor. I can pick that up. I noticed it. Hey, there's cat hair all over the floor because my sister's cat got in there. Vacuum. And 15, 20 minutes later, and suddenly I'm no longer sitting
You're
there
not in
itching.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is like a promise to yourself. Does it help to make it public, or hold yourself accountable to somebody else that you trust? And
It can. For me personally, it does not. For a lot of people, though, it does. So that's what's great about having a personal trainer is they can hold you accountable. So a lot of my clients, I'll check in on them, especially if they are apt to skip their workouts or go out to eat and eat unhealthy. Is I'll text them every morning, be like, hey, did you do your morning workout? So one of my clients does yoga every morning. He doesn't do a ton. He just does a couple sun salutations. I text him every morning I wake up. Did you do your sun salutations? If he says no, I'm like, well, do them right now. And he typically will drop everything and do them right then. So just having someone in your corner is always a benefit to
Well, here, I've
achieving
got
your
that.
goals.
the 2 trainers right in front of you. Right
And-
here, let's see the magic happen.
Well-
I'm going to do the hard work, and I've given up sugar. I'm really not eating, except for wine. I'm not doing desserts, and I'm
I
not
was
doing
gonna
carbs.
say the wine is all sugar.
Yeah.
Alcohol
One thing that-
alcohol is all sugar.
One thing that John touched on that it's really a big way to stay on the track of good habits is having some way to hold yourself accountable. And the way that I've been able to do that is my no days off philosophy of life. We've
No
talked
days
about it
off.
on a few shows over the course of the year because we actually had a whole show where that was kind of the whole theme. But where I'd take no days off from working out, like bettering myself physically, no days off from working on music and joke writing, so bettering myself mentally, and then no days off of having fun with people that I love, so I'm always having a good time every day too. So
Well, you're
all three-
looking really good, Chad.
no
I
days
see
off.
some muscle definition in his arms.
Well, thank you, but
As he's wearing a matching shirt, which we have to tell everybody, this is Gigi's favorite.
when I tell people that I
Color.
do no days off, so many people try to say,
Shout out to
but-
Gigi.
I'm right in the middle of a point, but well, a lot of the time I tell people no days off, they try to say, oh, like, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the time to do
I
that.
was just gonna say
But
that's
there are 24 hours in the day. You can get a really, really solid workout in 10 minutes. If you hold a 10-minute plank and every 2 minutes you do 20 glute bridge thrusts, you're going to be really sweaty after that 10 minutes. There are hundreds and hundreds of minutes in the day. You have time to work out for
Absolutely.
10 minutes every day. Even if it's right when you wake up, like your client does the 10 minutes of yoga, even if it's just 10 minutes, the consistency of staying on top of those good habits, you will feel so much better.
absolutely.
Like you'd be better off working out for 10 minutes every day than for 70 minutes on Monday. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the consistency
Consistency.
of working on it every day, you just feel so much better.
And that's also that's how you get results too. Is
Yeah.
you're not gonna having like a blast, like 2-hour workout twice a week is not gonna be as good as spreading it out. And like you said, the 10-minute burst. I love doing short, small workouts. So
Such as what? What
so
could you
one of my
recommend?
clients, he had never really worked out in his life, and he came to me wanting to lose about 30 pounds in 3-4 months. I told him
Yeah.
it might not be total possible. It's going to be a little bit tough, but we can definitely do about a pound a week. So what I had him start off with is I asked him, what does he like to do outside? I'm a huge advocate for being outside as much as possible. The sun is amazing for you. Grounding yourself to the ground is actually, great for your energy, great for everything. So he's like, well, I like to longboard. I'm like, when was the last time you did that? He's like, a few months ago. I'm like, start longboarding 10 minutes every day.
I
He
love
started
it.
doing that every day. And he would text me when he's on there. He's like, I love it. I'm going to start 15. I'm like, do it. And he's like, I'm going to do 20. So by the end of the week, he was doing 20 minutes on his own. I didn't even have to push him because it's something that he enjoys and that he
Right.
can do. And then we added in workouts. So we had 2-3, I trained with him once a week, and our workouts were about, 30 minutes. I don't want to destroy him. I don't want
Do
him
you
to
give
get
him things to do on his own?
yeah. So we trained like twice a week for the first week, and then we did once a week, and we would do a workout, and I would basically get an idea of what he had for equipment, and I would create a workout that he can do without having
Custom.
to go anywhere. Because one of the most difficult things for a lot of people is getting to a gym, because it takes 15 minutes to drive there, then 15 minutes to drive back. Sometimes you have to wait for, equipment. It costs money. So you want to do stuff at home.
Well,
I gave
also
him
when
5 exercises.
when I
That's
know
all.
that you're coming to work, train us, Rachel and I, or when Chet, I have an appointment with Chet, you have to do it. You have an appointment.
Absolutely.
And you can't have an excuse. You
Mhm.
just are going to work out.
And then so yeah, I just had him. I was like, just do this 2 times from now until the next time that you meet with me. And he ended up doing 3 times. He's loved it. And then the next week he's like, I'm just gonna keep doing it.
The intensity of the workout, do you have to work up to that? I mean,
Absolutely.
I know
yeah,
when
yeah.
I in my mind overtrain and I'm really sore the next day, it makes me hesitant to just jump.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's the other key is if you overstimulate your body, typically you're not going to have as good of a workout the next time. And your goal is to have a great workout every time. You're never going to have that. But if you can get into that mindset of I'm going to have a great workout, you're going to be a lot better off with your results. So
that's why it's so important for any beginners that are listening that you
Yes.
stick with like that small, consistent workouts instead of trying to break it all down at once. Because then you're just going to put yourself further behind because it's going to take you so long to recover.
Or you could get injured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you get
And-
injured, then you're out for a few months.
Chet, what you have said in the past, which I've appreciated, is you may be overdoing it when your form gets disrupted.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It helps to have
100%.
somebody watching.
Oh,
for that,
100%.
like,
For all beginners, I've heard this from numerous people, potential clients. They're like, I don't think I'm ready for a personal trainer. If you say that, you are doing the opposite. You need to get a personal trainer first to build
10 times more.
because your technique is the most important part of longevity and also results.
Why is that?
Quality
Well,
over
the-
quantity of reps.
The best ability is availability. If you are injured, you're not going to work out. You're not going to be getting as good of workouts. You're going to most likely avoid numerous different things, and then injuries tend to pile up. So you injure your knee, suddenly now your hip's going to start to hurt, your ankle might start to hurt, your lower back starts to hurt, and now you're no longer lifting at all because you're hurt. So hammer down your technique. That's what I always do with all of my clients. If you have poor technique, we're not really going to be pushing you to lose weight right away. We're going to be pushing you to perfect your technique so that when we do push you, you're not going to break down and you're not going to get injured or have potential for injuries. So technique first, weights later.
Technique,
100%.
weights.
Lose your ego, build strength.
And one thing I love that John touched on is finding something that you love to do to get you active and get you back out there.
Like dance. I love dancing.
Yeah, or even you guys love drinking. You guys can walk to wherever you're going to go drink. There's a
That's a
bunch
good
of fun
idea.
bars
Right.
that are like right
Chet,
around
I
2
don't
miles
love drinking. I have a glass of wine or two. During
Okay,
the show
come on,
once a week. Stop
Come
it.
back to reality.
Right.
To
here.
anybody that loves drinking,
Yes.
if you go to like a dive bar down the road, which a lot of people do, you can walk.
And
then
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, I think Chad's about to say the same thing as me. If you walk, you're not going to get plastered because then you have to walk back.
And you're saving gas. And our show's about sustainability.
There you go, sustaining gas.
Saving the
Saving the
planet
planet,
one show at a time. So if you're gonna
Step
go
at a
out,
time.
yeah, if you're gonna go out and drink, and there's this place within 2 miles, that's a great little distance to get your heart pumping, burn a few calories on the way there, and then I love going on a walk after a few drinks, having a little
Alright.
buzzed adventure. It's a great time.
Absolutely.
So it's a way that you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can get some exercise in, and you can save some gas. So if you're going to go eat or drink somewhere close by, why not make a fun little adventure out of it and walk there?
So I have a question for John and for Chet.
Mhm.
Do you think that sugar, if somebody's consuming too much sugar, even if they're exercising a lot, because I just talked to a doctor and a naturopath and a dietitian, and they all say that too much sugar is really bad for your health and your longevity of health, and there's so many diseases you can get. But my question is, if somebody's trying to lose weight or they're trying to be healthy, how much sugar is too much sugar?
That is a very subjective point.
Okay.
So some people handle sugar better than others.
True.
And also people who are doing high intensity exercise. So if you are an athlete or if you are lifting heavy 5-6 days a week, you need the carbohydrates. You need some sugar. If you're getting 50% of your calories from processed sugars, added sugars, your typical table sugar, that's not the greatest.
Like pancakes and whipped cream and chocolate
Once
sauce
in a
on
while is
everything.
not the worst, and also
Once in a while.
the simple sugars also are great for post workout. So right after your workout, especially if you are in shape and you are an athlete and you do an intense workout, you want those simple sugars.
What are simple sugars?
So
Dumb it
that's
down.
like white bread, white rice, pancakes, things that are lower in fat and and higher in the carbs, because they will replenish into your muscles almost instantly as glycogen. Not instantly. They'll pretty much only go back into your muscles if you are in shape. If you are,
But they do it quicker.
So,
don't
the real
yes.
So would you say that the crucial part is that it's about your caloric output? If you are burning a ton of calories, either going on crazy runs, doing crazy lifts, anything where you're really intensely working out, you don't need to watch those carbs quite as much because you're burning so many.
Well, that adds in another aspect is, like I said, some people process sugars better. So if there are some
100%.
people that are susceptible to diabetes, and it doesn't matter how good in shape you are. I've seen people who are, you know, slim, look great, and they have diabetes, and there's type 2, and they've accumulated that from either being alcoholic or overeating sugars. So if you get blood work regularly,
But if you have somebody that is a relative in your family that
Mhm.
has diabetes, or a couple people in the family, shouldn't you curtail that sugar?
again, it's all personal. So I would say get your blood work checked by a doctor.
Smart.
If you have higher blood sugar,
Smart.
then that would definitely be something, okay, yes, I have to limit my sugar. However,
That's
for
smart.
me, I know that after my workout, I ingest, I take in 150 grams of carb powder, which is just, it's not simple sugar. It's waxy maize, which is like a long chain of just dextrose together. So it processes very quickly, so it can replenish my muscles. Someone who is trying to lose weight and who is overweight with some health issues, that would not be the best idea.
Okay.
So again, it's person to person. Athletes who are heavy lifting, who have a lot of body mass or a lot of like muscle mass, sugar is typically okay. And again, you have to kind of figure out if you're eating all sugar. If you're, you know, eating McDonald's 7 days a week and you have a 6-pack abs, you're probably not healthy.
Oh, that's literally Chad Ochocinco. He ate at
Yeah.
McDonald's every day in his NFL career, and
Yeah.
he had like the record for the most consecutive games played. So it really shows that it's just genetics.
It is.
Some people
it's
can,
a lot. Yeah, it's genetics and what you do personally and what your body can process.
because then you watch the Super Size
Now,
Me movie.
for your typical
Mm.
average American, yes, sugar is not great. You want to avoid all processed carbs if you can. Most likely you won't be able to. So you want to limit that intake to, you know,
Well, we'll do another
a small
show
amount.
with a doctor that thinks that
so
you
Yeah.
should really cut down on your sugar.
So-
That
well,
sugar
I mean-
is the biggest evil.
It's
Like sugar. What I mean
Okay,
is
well,
like
we had
table
a
sugar.
I would say the biggest evil is sedentary lifestyle.
inactivity, 100%.
Sitting and doing nothing, or sitting at a desk 8 hours a day and then going home and watching TV and then going to bed. That is way, way worse than being an active individual like Chet or myself and eating, you know,
Brownies
a crumble
and-
cookie every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Coke and-
Well, one thing that is so accurate about that it is a person-to-person thing is when I was first really getting into this health kick, getting back into shape, I experimented with trying to cut out certain things. Like I tried to reduce my gluten intake and sugar intake in a big way, and all of a sudden I was just low energy all the time because I wasn't able to get the right amount of calories in. The moment I switched back to basically just eating everything I could put in front of me, I felt way better. I mean, I'm not eating all processed foods or all fake foods. I try to eat as much organic and like healthy stuff as possible, but I'm not scared of going somewhere like Wingstop and eating
And
15.
yeah. So that makes another point. Things that I say is try to make all of your own meals if you can, and limit your time going out. When going out to eat, you're gonna have a lot more fat, a lot more added sugar, a ton of added salt, and you don't know what actually is put into it. So even though you get a piece of salmon, it might be loaded with, you know, different seasonings with all these different salts, and it might be glazed in a nice simple sugar glaze that you don't really realize is there. If you make your own food, you know what's putting in it, and if you can do that for 90% of your meals, you are going to be better off than going out to eat and picking the healthy.
That's an awesome tip too, because you also are going to save a lot of money, and then
Absolutely.
you're going to have more money to eat at nicer restaurants where they're going to have higher quality food. They're going to clean their dishes better, all that kind of stuff. So when you are eating out, you want to go to somewhere that's going to have something quality. So
Mhm. And
Cheers. I agree with every tip that you're giving us right now. And
then
we're
for-
all going to get in the best shape
for-
of our lives.
for
with John and
dietary
Chet.
habits, I would say the biggest thing I tell my clients is it doesn't have to be exact. If you focus on trying to get a protein source, so that's like a fish, meat, egg whites, even a protein shake, a vegetable, and a fruit in every meal, you're gonna be better off than about 90% of America.
Mhm.
And those three things,
Protein, vegetable, and a fruit.
because you're going to get your fiber, you're going to get carbs, and you're going to get protein.
Okay, so
Wait,
Gigi.
I want to make one more point about sugar and Gigi.
Gigi was
loved,
105.
but she loved
and that's why we're wearing
desserts.
purple, and she just passed away, and she
Ate desserts every day. So
not desserts, one dessert every day.
Yeah, but she had a sweet tooth, and
She
so
did.
she
She
would
did.
reward herself at the end of the day with
Yes.
a dessert. She
She
wasn't
did.
scared of it.
I was going to say, she didn't fall into my binge eating habit where she ate instead of one cookie from Crumble and you order 4 of them because they can only deliver 4, you eat the whole 4. No, you eat one and then you're done. Or,
Yeah, she would eat
or even
one.
cut it into quarters and then have half or a quarter of each.
She would have a couple
There you
glasses of wine every day.
So it's
She didn't
about that
drink 2
moderation.
bottles.
It's all moderation.
She didn't drink 2 bottles, but she did believe nothing canned. She never ate anything out of a can.
Well,
she
that's,
didn't like
that's
eating
high sodium content. Always.
nothing out of a
always.
can, nothing fake.
Yeah.
You know, everything had to be fresh. She wanted to buy her groceries. We'd walk to the store, and she'd want to only buy the groceries for this day and the next day. That's it.
Yeah.
Because she didn't want to waste.
The amount of food that I eat, I can't do that.
Well,
No.
She just buy for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but buying stuff that isn't processed is really important.
Nothing
Um,
processed, nothing fake,
If you
everything organic.
if you have to make it yourself, it's going to be better. So like with chicken, if you buy frozen chicken and you just heat it up or put it in the microwave and it's like already cooked and everything, it's probably not the best. If you get the fresh chicken and you throw it on the grill yourself, it's going to be a lot better.
So, John, what do you think would be the number one exercise, like stability exercise, that beginners could add to their regimen to kind of improve their core strength and improve their overall athleticism? Because I feel like usually when I see people in the gym with mobility issues, it's either internally rotated shoulders or a lack of glute strength and hip mobility. And I feel like usually people break down from one of those 2 points. So I wanted to get, you have even more knowledge than I do, so I wanted to pick your brain about this.
So that leads into specific to clients. So there is no one exercise that's best for anyone.
I thought you said there's what are the ones where the weight?
Oh, deadlifts?
Deadlifts.
Deadlifts are great, but
You said that was your
your
favorite.
average person, if I tell them to go do a deadlift right now, 50 to 100, 90% of them would do it wrong.
Yeah, they
Or
wouldn't have the proper
some
mobility.
form of form breakdown.
What about the dead bug?
So dead bug is great too, but you still need someone to coach you on it. There is no one specific exercise. I would say the best exercise you can do for anyone is every time you sit in a chair, stand back up, sit back down 5 different times.
Oh, really?
I mean, that's 5 squats right there.
Let's all do
how many
this.
times? How many times do you? No, that's not a squat. You have to go all the way up, and all the way down,
And then
and
just-
all the way up.
And then just kiss it.
All the way
There you
up
go.
and all the way down.
And you don't have to just kiss. You can sit
Or
right
squat in
down
here.
because every person in this world needs to sit and stand for the duration of their
Colin,
life.
let's see you do it.
You need to sit and stand. You need to sit and stand
We're
because
growing this ass in the studio today.
show of
Five
hands, how many people
five.
want to be able to sit down on the toilet and stand up by themselves for the rest of their life, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
Nobody wants to have somebody helping them get into the bathroom.
And
You want to be able to do that. So sitting and standing. Another thing, the deadlift is another main big movement that everybody needs to do because you don't want to have to always have a picker-upper everywhere you go. You want to be able to bend down, pick things up safely. Another thing would be a lunge position. So every time you take a step and walk, you are doing one foot in front of another. That's an offset position. That's a position you need to train. Does it mean you have to do a full-on lunge? No, most people can't do a full-on lunge, but just standing in that position and doing certain movements or certain exercises can help facilitate that stability in that position, which will help maintain your balance when you're getting older walking. So a lot of people who are getting older start to lose their balance walking, going up and down stairs, those types of things.
So you heard it here. If you are a beginner and you don't know where to start, you should consult with a trainer like John so that they can give you that base set of workouts that's going to lead you to having the proper mobility, the proper flexibility and strength so that you can hit these workouts you need to be doing.
And they can
And
help
teach
you
you the
perfect
proper
your
form,
technique.
so you
Exactly.
can-
Perfect
you
the
can-
technique.
You can
And so you don't
monitor
get injured.
yourself.
Absolutely. And another thing is you're never too young or too old to learn how to move properly.
Mhm.
That's, one of the things that I try to talk to all of my clients about is I've trained clients from age 11 all the way up to age 102
Really.
and everywhere in between. And I've even helped, I was training a client and he has a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old and they wanted to work out. So we threw them right into it and we were working on form. We were just having fun. You don't. Should someone max out when they're 6 years old? If they have proper form, it actually is okay. If they have proper form, proper coaching, proper supervision, and the mental capacity to follow instructions and do it properly, yes, it can be safe. But it's all about maturity.
Well, your nutrition and your
technique.
fitness is your health,
Exactly.
and your health is your wealth.
Exactly.
If you don't have your health, you have no wealth. I mean,
Right.
that's really, health is wealth. And,
And-
so Gigi was always moving, and Gigi was
Mhm.
always exercising, and she was always walking. And I never remember her sitting unless she was like finally exhausted at the end of the day, like in the evening, and then she'd be reading. So,
If you're on a Fitbit program, for example,
Mhm.
they have prompts to just get up and move.
Absolutely.
So, I think mine was at like every 15 minutes or so. It
Yeah.
prompted me to get up.
Get up and stand up for a minute.
Yeah, even
I
if it's
love
2
those.
minutes.
Here we go.
I
1, 2,
actually,
3. Let's do it.
I actually, you know, I actually will tell my clients even, I'm like, yeah, especially the ones that are business owners, because a lot of my clients are business owners, you get into a work groove and you can lose track of time. You can be sitting in front of a computer,
Sure.
not moving for 10 plus hours at once. I've seen it, I've done it myself. And I tell them, if you have an Apple Watch or, you know, one of those smart watches or a Fitbit, set that alarm, make that thing tell you. Or if you don't, set a timer, repeat timer.
Otherwise, you're gonna feel like the
For
Tin
30
Man when you
minutes.
get out of
Yeah,
your seat.
30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, just get up and stand for 2 minutes. And if you don't want to, you know, do it, just if you need something to do, you know, go walk to the bathroom or go fill up a bottle of water or just do something. Go pet your dog. I don't know.
My,
Stand up and move.
my dad is a cardiologist, and he would tell his patients exactly what you're telling him. And he also would tell his patients, this was something annoying, but he would take their socks. You know, people that have socks that come up past your ankles,
Mhm.
if they were too tight, he'd walk around with the scissors. He'd say, oh, take your socks off, and he'd cut them. He'd say, that cuts off your circulation. Don't wear
Oh,
socks
wow.
that are that. He thought they were bad.
Well,
And
I
then he'd
hate
say,
tight shoes and tight socks because that is not good for your foot health. It's not good for your balance. Your foot is your connection to the ground. If you don't have strong feet and mobile feet and functional feet, you're going to have problem with balance. You're going to have problem with hip mobility, knee mobility, different things because your ankle and your foot will be all crunched up. So if you look at your shoe,
Mhm.
most shoes come to a point or a narrow point, and that doesn't allow your feet to spread out and grip the floor. So as Kinga knows,
We're working on my.
when
on
do
the
we
toe.
work out? Do we work out with shoes on?
No.
No, we work out barefoot
Barefoot.
because it allows you to get a better contact to the ground, get that feedback from the ground, and keeps better balance.
But we're not doing anything high impact that would actually hurt your feet.
We're
without
not
having
doing
shoes.
jumps or anything like
Right,
that with it.
right.
I mean, if you're going for a 20-mile run, you might need some shoes with some support.
Mhm.
But I have an
However,
injured
yeah.
big
Yeah.
toe joint, and so you're trying to fix that.
One thing
We're healing it.
One thing I wanted to touch back on a little bit is just how important it is to be doing the proper technique on reps over just going to the gym. Because I'll go to the gym and I'll see some old guy like trying to do lat pull downs or something where he's not even using his lats, or he's like using his internal shoulder
Doing these
rotator.
right here.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
then you're literally doing the opposite of what you want to do. You're literally reinforcing the improper way to move.
Mhm.
So it's so important to have a trainer there in the beginning if you don't know what you're doing.
So, case in point with technique and how it can affect your performance. One of my clients, my sister, Alyssa, she started training with me in 2020 when her personal trainer moved during the shutdown. She's a competitive powerlifter. She was pretty much plateaued at a 225-pound squat and a 375-pound deadlift. She was 148 pounds. That's pretty good.
Wow.
However, for that weight, she had been there for over a year and really
That's
hadn't
great.
progressed.
Stagnant.
She started working with me. The first thing I did is I took all the weights off and we just went back to basics, focusing on form for about 6 months.
Oh,
Really?
And slowly built her back up. And then once we perfected form and she could do it in her sleep, perfect form on her deadlifts, perfect form on her squats, we then slowly built everything up. And the thing is, there was some dysfunction in her hips, there was some dysfunction in her shoulders, wasn't allowing her to get back into the proper position for squat, she wasn't engaging her lats. So we took some time to address all those deficiencies, dysfunctions, and issues with her body. And then we didn't even have a full workout program. We didn't even have a powerlifting program. We just worked on form. And her next meet after that, she deadlifted what was it, 410 pounds.
Wow.
The following meet after that, she did 430 pounds, and she did 432 pounds, I believe, after that. And then we went on
So the form was
the
lack
form.
of form.
Yeah,
was
the lack
holding
of
her
form
back.
was holding her back. And then once we hit that weight, then we got her on a full-on powerlifting program. And in 12 weeks, she went from a 430-pound deadlift to a 452-pound deadlift, which is, for her weight class in the world, is 75th best.
Wow.
She's
Really?
insane.
Top 75
Wow, that's incredible.
in the world.
Congrats.
She's
And
a
so-
beast.
And now we just finished a 12-week hypertrophy program. She's going to go back to powerlifting next week, and then we'll be after her deload week, and then we have a meet I think planned in October, where I think she'll probably get up well over 475 because her 450-pound deadlift back last meet, it was so easy. She could have even done more than that.
So
but
does she
ran
have a
out
goal
of
to
attempts.
go to achieve like a higher goal, like first in the
so-
world, or?
Her goal and my goal is the #1 ranked powerlifter in the world for deadlift in her weight class is Stephanie Powell, and she went to college, the same college as me.
Really?
Oh,
And
really?
I've seen her lift.
So she better
was,
watch her back.
Yeah, she
huh?
was
Ah.
one year ahead of me, so I want to see the Brockport knowledge, #1 and
There
#2.
you go.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Let's
'Cause
see
she is very excellent at what she does. She's incredibly intelligent. I think she has the same degrees as me, so that's our goal, is to get up there.
So
That's a 530 pounds. So
That's
we're a little far away.
That's
So
a
but
great
we'll
goal.
So for people that are on the experienced side of lifting, do you think it is super beneficial to try to get up to those max weights? Because recently I've been mostly the highest rep max I'll go to is maybe like a 5 rep max, just because I usually am working out by myself, so I don't have a spotter. So that's probably the main reason why. But how do you think I'm cutting myself off by not trying to go to lower rep maxes? Like, what do you think there's the pros and cons of going to like 1 or 2 rep maxes?
If you are a power lifter, you might want to do some 1 rep maxes. However, I will say this:
Why do I not know
Alyssa-
what that means?
a power lifter is
We need
like that.
definition.
I don't understand what he just said.
Powerlifting. Oh, so 1 rep max. So
Yeah, what
that's
is
like
that?
So it's the most weight you can
most
possibly
weight
do.
you can possibly do for 1 rep.
Okay.
So that's her maxed out, her 452-pound deadlift.
Sure.
That's her 1
Okay.
rep max. We have never trained a 1 rep max in the gym in our training cycles. The only time we do 1 rep maxes for her is at a meet. It can be beneficial to see where you're at, or even you want to flirt with your ego a little bit. If you have been doing a program, yeah, you can probably max out after that 12-week program and see where you're at. However, there is no necessary, like you don't have to do that ever. I never do 1 rep maxes anymore, simply because
And Chet,
I've
do
had
you?
so many injuries in the past.
I don't. Well, yeah, the risk of
Yeah.
injury goes up slightly because it's the heaviest weight you can handle.
Yeah.
So
Don't do
your
that.
form naturally
Please
is
don't do
gonna.
And if you have any technique faults, that's when they'll pop up. And doing a 1 rep max isn't really that bad either. Like, you can do a 1 rep max, and even if your form is a little bit off, as long as you are in solid shape, you probably won't have any problems. The problem happens if you start maxing out, every week or every other week, or doing a bunch of single reps and your form is poor on all those reps.
Yeah.
1 bad rep is not going to kill you. 1 bad rep 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 times
Repeated.
can really
Hurt
mess up.
you.
So that's where, a trainer comes in to assist you with your programming so that you aren't going over your form limit. So once your form starts to break down, you should not do any more reps or any more lifts. Even if you can muscle 1 up, there's no need to. Going to failure means you can't do any more with good form.
Well, and you've had a start on certain things, and then you'll notice right away that my form,
Chet,
I don't get it. Then you modify it,
Mhm.
building up to where I could probably
Absolutely.
do it correctly.
And a good trainer will be able to modify exercises to their client's abilities. So that's when I say I have I think the oldest client I train right now is 84, and she's in really good shape. She's actually in better shape than most. So we still do deadlifts, we do squats, we do weighted squats. So she doesn't do behind barbell squat. There's no need for her to do that. Her shoulders are not mobile enough to get in that position, and she's not trying to be a power lifter or any type of, she doesn't need to be a big.
can we
meaty
make me
person.
into like the #1 champion for.
Possibly. I think it's possible. Anything's possible if you want to. But it might take
Colin's
some time.
laughing.
It might take some time here.
But I want
No,
to.
you were such a baby in the gym. I had her doing leg presses, and she put it was on 25 pounds, and she's like, "This is too heavy."
well.
I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You can squat down. You can do more than 25 pounds on a leg."
Oh, I
She's
know.
like, "It's too heavy for me."
No, I think
You're-
it's more of her confidence level too, because was it yesterday or no? Yesterday?
Yeah.
We were doing deadlifts just with one dumbbell between her legs, doing an RDL, so just a top down hinge or deadlift. And
Wait, like this. It's where you hold the weight.
No, not
and
like
you-
that. You hold it right here,
and
like
you-
this, right down there, and then
you
you
go
go
like
down
this.
and up. And she did them really well, and I was like, okay, we're gonna try 30. She's like, I can't do that. I was like, okay, you're gonna do it once, and then we'll see.
And
She did it once, and
you
it
can
was
do
perfect. And she did it twice, and it was perfect. She did it 5 times, and then I was like, okay, I'll take it from you. You can drop down to 20. So it was just a matter of, yes, you're gonna do it.
mental toughness
Yes,
thing.
mental
Exactly.
toughness, and
So-
having that trainer to push her, because I could tell that her form was solid and that she wasn't going to injure herself by adding weight.
On some of the things, he says my form's better than Rachel.
Yeah. Rachel's another story. That girl has the tightest hips I think I've ever seen in my life.
It's all that running.
Oh yeah, no.
It's
Running
hurdling.
her whole life
And
then
hurdling.
not running.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
seriously? Is
So
that what it is?
she has a desk job now, and she does a lot of music production. So
Yeah.
when you're used to doing those
Not a lot of
crazy
movement.
long movements and then you're sitting, everything kind of tightens up. So, and also when you're in a D1 college or a competitive athletic program, they have athletic trainers, they have a physical therapist, they have all these people that can help you with those things any time of the day.
And
that
she
you-
was doing that. I
and she
remember.
was doing that all the time. And she even told me, she's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Because I told her, I was like, you had like athletic trainers. She's like, yeah, actually I did. And I was like, that's probably why it's so tight. So now we're slowly
For
starting
listeners,
to
though,
break it down.
Rachel is Chet's sister, my daughter, and
She used to be a co-host of the podcast.
and she still
so-
is. She comes and goes. She'll be on soon. We'll get her on together again with John soon. She hurdled and sprinted in college, and then she was in the best shape of her life. And then, like you said, she just took a break.
Wait, this is so interesting because I have been thinking I have kind of shoulder tightness from I used to be a pitcher in baseball, and then I
Oh,
kind of the same thing. I just went from throwing 100 baseballs every single day to not throwing them at all, and so I've
oh.
really had to focus on doing a lot of external shoulder rotation exercise, hitting my rotator cuffs and stuff to keep my shoulder mobility good so that I can still do back squats and that kind of stuff. And I think it is related to when you go from doing something every day, whether it's running, track, or throwing a baseball, to just cold turkey stopping. So I've been also trying to get back out and throwing the baseball a little bit too.
Well, you went from this
Mm-hmm.
all the time, 100 times or 1,000 times a day to this.
True. And then
Colin laughed.
I also have been playing basketball more, and because it's kind of like how your client that loved the longboarding, I love playing basketball, so it makes me just want to go out and exercise without even thinking about it. When I go,
I will say one thing for any listeners: if you are a male over the age of 35 and you decide to go play basketball, do not.
Why?
well,
It is the #1 cause, I would say, from my time in a physical therapy office for blowing out your Achilles or your ACL, because you probably haven't played basketball in years. And basketball is a very plyometric sport. You are cutting, you are sprinting, you are stopping, you are jumping, you are starting. And if you aren't in good,
repetitive.
So
exactly.
get in good shape first.
If you
because my
get
dad,
into quality shape,
even
yeah.
in his like early 90s would play basketball.
Yeah, but if he's not playing like competitive basketball,
No,
like
it's fun.
25-year-olds at the
yeah.
gym.
No,
Like, I'm talking like, if you go to like LA Fitness and you go to pickup game and you're 35 and this is your first time playing basketball in 10 years, don't.
You're gonna blow
shoot
out that
some hoops.
Achilles. Yeah.
Hire a personal trainer and get yourself into good enough shape, because that's like the peak level. Like basketball is above lifting, walking, running. You know, you have to be able
Really?
to do all these different things before you can actually play basketball.
So
'cause
is
it's a
it
culmination.
high?
It's a culmination of all the different aspects of fitness.
So
And
it's
if
the
you're
highest
play-
level of fitness you
Well,
would say.
and if you're
basketball?
playing a pickup game, you're using your muscles at 1,000% explosive rate. You're jumping as high as you can. You're running as fast
Now,
as you can.
would a game of horse mess you up? No. If you're 35, you want to play some horse or shoot some hoops, shoot some threes, absolutely go for it. But playing a competitive game is a huge injury risk.
And men are so competitive. You want to.
Oh, yeah,
you got to beat
100%.
them out no
I
matter
have
what.
to. Like, I want to play basketball, but I know that my body is not in the ideal shape. I have ankle, foot issues on my right foot, and I know for a fact that if I played basketball, it would not be great. I would have to go half speed or, but shooting hoops is
So-
okay.
Excuse me, don't talk
it
about
is
me,
an
I'll be right
excellent
back.
point that if you want to get back into an activity like that and it's been a while, you gotta go about it gradually. You
Yes.
can't just dive back in. So if you are listening to this and you want to get back into playing basketball, go and start shooting hoops twice a week for the next month, and then after you have some of that strength build back up, then you could maybe play like a little bit of one-on-one but not go super hard or something like that. And then once you've had a couple weeks of that, then you might be in good enough shape to try to play like a little bit of a pickup game.
And also you do have to probably start running, because basketball is a lot of running and injuries happen when your form breaks down. And as Ken, you and I were all talking about, when you get tired, your form starts to break down. So if you are in bad shape and you try and play basketball, you might be good for a few minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, and then once you get exhausted, now your
Form will break.
you got the cement legs where your feet aren't putting, you're not actually actively driving your foot, you're just kind of placing it and then trying to jump off it. And that is fine for, when you're 18 years old and nothing hurts you. But if you're 35 and you have some crusty ankles or crusty hips, you could probably
Say bye to that Achilles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that happened to me my first game back. By the end I was gassed. Like I was probably red as a beet in the face, and my legs were so fatigued. So it was definitely, I jumped a little bit too hard back into it. So I kind of gradually have been going back, and now I'm in better cardiovascular shape so that I can play a full game.
So
So
really, it comes down to, if you want to play basketball and you haven't done it in years, hire yourself a coach, either a basketball coach or a personal trainer, to get yourself into that shape to be able to play that. And it's not just basketball, it's any type of sport. So, I mean, rugby I played. I don't think I'd ever play rugby again. I might probably die, but there are some older guys who, we have the alumni game at my college every year. I think they still do that, where all the alumni are able to come back and play rugby against the college kids. And there's, some 45, 50-year-old guys playing. Some of them continued playing throughout their whole lives. Some of them haven't. And you see the ones that haven't.
they get hurt real
You know what happened. They're sitting there.
My
dying.
background was in running and tennis. And I
Okay.
found as I got older, the marathon running,
Oh, wow.
was taking a toll on my right knee. And that caused problems in tennis, going rapid back
Yeah.
and forth. I had to give up tennis because my knee couldn't take it
Yeah.
any longer.
And those
I could
lateral
go
movements.
I was going great straight forward, but you're
Yeah.
not a very good tennis player.
Absolutely.
You can't go side to side.
I mean, you still probably beat me, but
So
people who are competitive and good, you might not.
So I just went out to do some squats because I couldn't sit this long. 'Cause my trainer's here and he
Is
sees
that what
I
we're
need
calling
to be.
taking a shit now?
Shut
Doing
up.
some
Be a
squats,
gentleman. Come on, be a gentleman. I just did about 20 squats.
Oh yeah, for
Cheers.
sure.
Cheers.
There we go.
Cheers.
But one thing that John brings up, though, that is an
Please remember
excellent
that
point,
once
though,
we're
is
gonna take that out.
it's not just basketball. It can be any sport, because I actually was playing on a sand volleyball league last year, and a girl on our team blew out her knee. So
Oh my
it
gosh.
can be literally any sport. So if you've been out of working out for any long period of time and you want to get back into some activity like that, you should have a consistent workout program with a trainer first, so you can build up that base level of strength and mobility. Otherwise, you're putting yourself in a big risk. And then it took her like 5 months to
Yeah.
recover from that. So
I mean, yeah.
Well,
I,
and with John, it's so much fun. I mean, he's so intelligent, and with Chet as well, both Chet and John, when you train.
well, John's like the expert. He's like the Yoda, and I'm just like the little Padawan. But
there we go.
John is the expert, but I enjoy training with both of you. But John is really focusing on my injury of my toe, and that's key because my toe injury, as you said, is kind of getting me off kilter with all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, can you define what's happening?
Well, so with any type of injury, it doesn't just affect the spot of the injury. So your toe, yes, your foot, your ankle, they're right there. It's going to mess those up because it's going to, twist your foot, or your toe might curl up. You might not be able to press off it. So your foot is going to change the way it moves in order to allow you to keep moving the way you want to. However, what happens then is now your ankle your foot might twist outwards a little bit. Now your shin bone will start to twist in a little bit, which will affect the knee, and it can affect the hip, which can affect the lower back. So now we have to figure out, yes, the toe is messed up, but what else up the chain has been messed up. So you always have to look.
Are we
above
getting
and
into
below.
physical therapy?
So a lot of my personal training, my training style, I definitely blend like physical therapy, techniques and principles with your traditional weight training, resistance training thing.
And
So
what are your goals?
what are my goals?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I am planning on going back to school for physical therapy. However, I've been out of school for 10 years. So no school accepts your credits, past, 6-10 years. So
Really?
I mean,
That's
some of them are
really-
like 6 years. If you haven't taken these classes in 6 years, you have to retake
So
them.
they make you redo all of them.
Yeah, whichever ones their prerequisites are. So
Really?
right now, I just
Interesting.
took psychology last semester. This next semester, I have to take anatomy and physiology, chemistry, and physics, which I've already taken all those in college and I've already passed them. But it's gonna be a
To
nice little,
redo it.
yeah, it's gonna be a
Interesting.
nice little refresher. I mean, it'll
It's good for
get
your
me
brain
into
cells.
it, get me into the like college mode, the work group, because I've been out for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually my goal is to go to Northern Arizona University. That's the one I want to go to. There's a local campus right in Phoenix. It's a really good school. The price point is really good, and
How long the program is?
it's typically physical therapy programs for about 3 years.
That's one thing though, if anybody's listening that wants to find a trainer, you should start working with John, because he basically already has like close to a physical trainer level
He
of,
really does.
or physical therapist level
So-
of knowledge. He just still has to technically get the degree for it, but a lot of trainers don't have his level of knowledge about little intricate ways about movement patterns in the kinetic chain like he was talking
They
about.
really don't,
So-
because I actually saw a podiatrist for my toe. He sent me to a therapist, and he never said. John has me squeezing my foot to grip the floor
Mhm.
to strengthen my foot, and I see such a difference in my foot and my ankle from just a few, 2 weeks. It's miraculous. How do people get a hold of you, John?
How do people get a hold of me?
If they want to train,
Uh,
as long as you always
yes.
keep my appointment.
Yes, of course. Your appointment's set in stone.
Okay.
No, so I don't have a website or anything.
You're-
Typically, text or phone call or email. My phone number, 315-406-2479, and my email is turosept@gmail.com.
And if you give in the green room code, you get 15% off the session.
There you go. That'll work. And so the reason I am like I have built this kind of physical therapy, personal training hybrid type thing is I've been injured in pretty much every way imaginable besides your knee. I have separated my shoulder, I've broken my collarbone, I have thoracic outlet syndrome in both my shoulders, I have impingement syndrome
Is this why you're drunk?
No, most
Just
of
kidding.
these are rugby, football, like, pickup sports. I've blown out my ankle. I've like multiple different ways. So everything that I've done, I've gone to physical therapy for, and I've
You've
learned
learned.
how to fix it. And a lot of my injuries right now are chronic. I'm from past injuries, and I didn't fully go through the full physical therapy. So I've been actually going to physical therapy once a week minimum every single week for the past 2 years.
Oh, really?
And my physical therapist is really great. It's Awatuki Physical Therapy down in Awatuki, if anyone's down there.
Okay.
Eric Burness is the guy. And he doesn't just, take me through the exercises and tell me what to do. He discusses with me why he's doing certain things and what he's doing and how he's doing it. And then that's pretty much, I just absorb. I'm like a sponge. I try and sit there and ask him as many questions as possible. And he pretty much just teaches me how to do that. And then after I'm done with physical therapy, I don't stop. I go and try to emulate those or reproduce those on either my own body with like cupping, scraping, soft tissue work like muscle release, trigger point therapy, and I also use it on some of my clients. I always get consent
We've done a
first.
few of those things, and it's really
I
helped.
use it on Rachel. Rachel has seen
right.
some really good results from
Big results.
the cupping. Though this week we can't because she doesn't want marks on her body.
Define cupping.
So
After I ask Colin, how many more minutes do we have? 3 minutes. Okay.
all right. So cupping is it's basically like a suction cup.
Oh, good. He can
I
demonstrate.
brought some. So
Oh,
Okay. Can you
basically-
demonstrate on chat?
No, I don't. I want to.
So basically, it's a suction cup. You take this.
Colin,
it comes in
guinea
either
pig.
silicone or this hard plastic. They also have glass ones. With the traditional Chinese medicine, is they use glass and they use a flame, which creates a pressure and sucks up.
oh, yeah.
And what does it suck up?
Basically, you put it on your body. You typically put lotion on, lubrication, so it suctions up. But you basically just pump it out. So let's say,
I saw.
You
I
can
see
see the
do it
marks,
on
you
me
see the
if
marks.
it makes it
Okay,
easier.
So,
okay, here we go.
so let's say Chet's shoulder is a little sore,
Can
right?
the camera see? Can you?
And he's got
Can you do
issues
that?
right here.
Yeah, here we go,
Rotate
here we
so
go.
Basically, we put it right there, and you see how that's pulling the muscle into it. So it's going to pull blood and nutrients into that particular spot of the muscle.
Oh.
So if you have
Can
a
we-
really
To the
tight muscle,
surface.
it can help pull everything to that
Can you
surface
put it on
into the
this
muscle.
side so the camera
I
can
can
see?
see.
Absolutely.
We
So
only
we'll
have
put it on this
a
side
minute and a
here.
half.
So right here, let's say there. So what's it's going to do? It's going to there. Some people just let them sit.
Does it hurt?
No, it actually feels good because that's a spot that's
Yeah.
tight, so it's loosening that area.
Really?
So it pulls. And then sometimes with clients, I'll have them move in different movements to facilitate that stretch. So it's tacking this down. So if we wanted to stretch this muscle out, relax your arm there. Relax
How
your
many
arm.
have we gone?
And what we would do is we could go
50.
out like that, and you'll
Someone
feel
did
it pull.
54.
And you'll feel it pull.
Okay, I'll count you down.
Okay.
So
We still have more
right
time.
there will just be you'll feel that pull
Feels good.
through the muscle. So it's basically tacking this part down while we get a stretch. So it's going to help stretch that. It also pulls in nutrients and blood. You can see a little
Okay,
mark.
so you're saying that it pulls in, it brings the blood there to help heal it.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a great invention! Who
so,
invented that? That's amazing.
It's traditional Chinese medicine around for thousands of years. I think.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
So it's kind of
don't quote me on
holistic.
that. I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
so
So
If
the-
you-
these are the things that I've kind of picked up from physical therapy, and just also researching online. So once I found out, I kind of researched, figured out what to do.
we only have about 1 minute left, so we're gonna recap this real quick.
Colin,
But,
how many minutes?
You're at 51 in 30 seconds.
So we have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
One
So,
minute.
John,
We have to go to 55.
look up, or what is it? Turose Personal Training. Is that the email?
Spell that.
Let's go to the email
Yeah.
one more
So
time.
the email is Turose PT. That's TUROSE. P is in Papa, T is in training. At gmail.com.
Papa training.
Is that your preferred method of contact then?
That or text message or phone call to my phone number of 315-406-2479. Or if you contact Kinga or the Green Room, she will happily send you over my way.
And you would get
Contact.
15%. Oh, shit, I like your
That was the
friend.
timer, LOL. That was for
Oh, right. That's his lead call.
maybe. But remember, if you don't have a base level of knowledge and strength, you need to work with a trainer like John so that you can get that form back and make sure you're doing the right techniques so that you're not going to injure yourself. Because you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot if you try to get back in the gym without knowing what to do, and then you injure yourself.
Well,
So it's kind of a
wanna say,
no-brainer.
What else could you spend money on that could be more important? But
Well,
your health
well,
and your health as
that
well.
was the other tip I was about to give. If you are in such a bad financial spot right now that you literally can't afford a trainer, a good baseline way to build some core strength back up is Yoga with Adrienne. She's on YouTube, and she has hundreds of yoga sessions for complete beginners that are free and accessible. And it's not going to be as good as working with a trainer and doing stuff that's resistance training. But if you're totally broke and you can't afford a trainer and you want to get back to being more active and you want to follow along with somebody, she is a great resource.
But everybody I know can afford John.
Oh, 100%.
And they don't need another purse. They don't need a new outfit.
I know, but we have
They don't-
a
but they
lot of
need to
listeners.
train.
We have a lot of
Yeah, that's
listeners
what we do.
coming from all different financial backgrounds. So if
That's
there's somebody
true.
that's listening
That's
that
true.
can't,
If you can't afford, your first step, go for a 20-minute walk every single day.
And listen to the
Everybody
show
can
monthly
walk.
when we get John on. And we'll
Everybody
tips
can
with
walk.
John.
Go for a
Woo!
walk. If you can't go for a walk,
As soon as
ride
possible.
your wheelchair.
There you go.
10 minutes every day.
What's your
Right?
last quote for our goodbye for in the green room?
The last quote.
About a tip.
How about a tip?
get off your ass and move.
There you
That's
go.
Being
Jess,
sedentary
what's
is
yours?
bad.
Fix your injuries before they happen.
Ooh, I like that
Oh,
one.
that's really good. See,
Health
I
is
told you
wealth.
he's like Yoda. That was a Yoda answer
Health
right
is
there.
wealth.
That's my tagline. Fix your
Alright.
injuries before they
Saving the
happen.
planet.
Saving
One
One
the
show at a
at a
time.
time.
One
Bye.
show at a time. Bye. Thank you.
That was fun. That was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Flew
we
by.
talked about a lot of fun topics too, like related to training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would definitely go on this again.